completely live, and you are officially on the podcast for your first time. Are you scared yet?
Yay! I'm nervous,
Tell
not
us,
scared.
or not. Never mind.
Okay, what did you say? Your phone cut out.
Oh, I switched microphones over to my sweet silky microphone, so hopefully I sound better.
Mhm.
How nervous
Okay.
you? You don't want to tell us how nervous you are?
I'm not that nervous. I'm used to talking. Talking's easy, but I think I'm mostly just nervous because normally people can't see me. So I'm hidden behind a little booth or with a little headset on. And so I don't have to be visual. Like people don't have to look at my face while I'm talking.
There are so many places to take this. Well, we will be responsible. We are joined here with Lonnie Fox. How's it going?
It's going great, Nate. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Lonnie is going to be a semi-regular addition to the podcast going forward. Maybe not every episode, probably not every episode, but on occasion you're going to be on, and you're going to be our sober-minded woman who keeps us in line and tells us how stupid we are, because we really are desperately needing that right now.
So I'm not gonna lie, your podcast has a lot of testosterone in it. It's not gonna hurt any to have a female in the mix.
Well, tell us who you are and why you're qualified to be on the show. Come on, be nice and arrogant. Tell everybody how great you are. Go on.
I'm not very good at that. Okay, so anyway, my name is Lonnie Fox Raymond. I've been playing pool since I was, I'm not gonna age myself. We're gonna say 25 years. And I have played professionally. I have played on the amateur level. I have been involved in doing commentary. I'm basically a complete pool nerd and have been that way for many years. And so I have a lot of knowledge. I have experience, and a general love for this sport, which helps. And I'm definitely excited to be here. And I think I have every right to be here. I watch as much pool as anybody. So pretty excited to be involved for the first time. I've watched the podcast for a long time. Sorry, I got things making noise in my room.
Now we get a nice view of your nose.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forget. See, that's what I mean. That right there is exactly what I mean about I normally can be talking and I can be doing 3 other things at the same time. But and that's what I told Nate. I was like, I am going to make a mess of this because I am not used to people being able to see me.
You're going to crush it. You're going to be awesome.
Thanks.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm in my pool room at home. I decided to come home from my salon. I own a salon in the hometown that I live in, and I decided it was best to do this in the privacy of my own space. And so I came to my pool room, which is my favorite place. And
yeah, show us around.
And
it's a pretty cool pool room.
Okay, so I can't really see myself, so you guys bear with me. It's a little messy. So that's my race car door. My dad and I own a race car, and it's got my salon name on it. And then I have a Valley 7-foot triple shim, and I have an Olhausen drop pocket that has been refurbished and plays very, very similar to a diamond. So this is where I practice. This is my space. This is where my husband and all his buddies have their Thursday night AARP club. And so, yeah, my whole family uses it. We enjoy it.
So perfect. Zach McCraw asks, no Mike and the other guys today. They will be on in a little bit, but we are going to give Lonnie just a few seconds to introduce herself. And then the rest of the people are going to be joining in. Demitrius will be on today. Chris and Jim Telfer will be on today. So Chris and Jim were both at the European Open. So seems fitting that we get them on. And then Demitrius is actually sitting in the background right now. So I guess we'll bring him in. What's up, Demitrius?
How you doing, Nate? Good to meet you, Lonnie.
Hi, it's nice to meet you too. I've been watching you guys for a while, so thanks for having me.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, we need somebody to keep us in line. So Lonnie's gonna do it. She's gonna yell at us and tell us how dumb we are. Hopefully. Don't be shy. So
I'm not. We know that name.
Yeah, that's the thing. Demetrius, I'm going to be up in your neck of the woods this weekend.
Yeah.
You're gonna come over and get hammered with me?
No, I'm actually going to be doing a 3-day refresher. So I've got six former students that have done a 3-day boot camp with me. And what we're doing is I talk about there's teaching and then there's training. Sometimes people are like talking about new information, new shots, new strategies, but then there's actually like putting in the work. So what I've done is I've already taught these guys kind of what I have to teach them. But what we're doing is we're getting 6 of my former students together again for 3 days to actually train and just put in hours doing it. Anyway, I can get into details about what we're going to be doing. So we've got 3 tables set up at a commercial pool hall. We're going to be training all day, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see all those guys again. We've been in touch. They've all kind of know each other through my our Facebook group where we do ongoing training. Now we're going to get together. We're going to be working on a bunch of stuff and, just putting in the hours, just fine tuning. And I think the biggest thing that's cool about that is these guys can train on their own, but when they train with me, I have a higher standard of like how the rack should be run to where I demand a little bit tighter cue ball, a little bit tighter targets, better angles, smoother transition. So little by little, first I raise the bar on what they have to do for their patterns. And then that raises the bar on how accurate they need to be with their cue ball, which then improves their tip accuracy and speed control because they have to ask for more from themselves and develop those skills to start keeping up with me basically on the level. So it's nothing fancy. The training that we do, it's no secret sauce or anything, but they basically just run side by side with me for 3 days, and little by little, they start asking for more, thinking a little bit clearer, and getting a little bit more accurate, and a little bit of tip accuracy, a little bit of speed control, a little bit of better cue ball, a little bit of better strike on the object ball where you're hitting the part of the pocket you want to, and a little bit better clarity on where you're trying to map the cue ball on the table. You put it all together, and a few just small micro adjustments in all those areas, and it looks real different.
Sure.
So I'll be tied up having fun.
Yeah. I do think we have a little bit of feedback. Demetrius, would you be able to leave this and come back in, see if that clears it up?
Oh, sure.
I think your microphone's just a little scratchy.
Okay, sorry.
Hopefully that clears it up. No problem.
Yeah, I like what he's doing, right? Because then he takes his students that he's working with and he brings them back and he can actually see the progress. And I think that's great because some coaches don't do that. They give you their lessons and then you may never see them again other than to keep in contact with them via inbox or whatever. But I love that he's bringing the same students back and like is able to keep working and like showing them, okay, well, you've got this part right, but you still need a little work here. I think that it's good that a coach is able to see progress.
Congrats, Demetrius. You can do that. I want to get done with my lessons and be done with them. To keep everything. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. I mean, the lessons are not like I do a decent amount of lessons, and they're fun and they're rewarding in their own ways, but it's not the first thing that I do. It's not like what I do in the industry as a primary thing, and they're hard to keep. So to maintain a relationship, not only a relationship, but accountability to all the students that you have, that's pretty cool.
The biggest fear I have is that I'm doing, if I was doing a lesson for like a couple hours, is this microphone just not? Hang on, let me make one more adjustment. Hold on.
Yeah, I think it's definitely your microphone.
Test. Is that any better? No.
You hear it though, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, let me finish this thought, and then I can maybe I'll bow out if other people jump in, and I'll do some troubleshooting. But what? One more thing. I'm just messing around. Okay, so if I was doing a 1-hour lesson or 2-hour lesson, and I taught somebody a few things, I wouldn't feel the same sense of obligation. But when people come and spend 3 days with me and make it a big voyage to really try to improve their pool game, I don't feel like I could just point to a few things and give them some knowledge and be like, oh, here's this and that shot, and here, do this, that, good luck. I feel like the proof is in the pudding, which is, do these guys get better over 6 months, over a year? Are they actually better players? And I don't measure my success based on my success or my is based on their success. So I feel like it's really important I follow through and make sure it works. Okay, this is for some reason, guys. I don't know what's going on, but this is undoable. I'll sit out. I'll let you introduce Lonnie and let the others join in, and I might have to sit this one out until I figure it out, Nate.
Yeah, troubleshoot it around. If you need some help later on, let me know.
All right,
one
sorry,
question:
guys.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Are you going to be at Stooges with that?
Yes. So if you want to stop over, I'm going to be a mile away from you.
Are they are any of them podcast listeners, or are they just
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, maybe I'll stop over. It's starting on Thursday?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 10 to 10, 10 to 10, 10 to 2.
Okay, I will be there on Thursday night, so maybe I'll swing by. If I have a break in the matches, maybe I'll swing by.
We don't start until Friday morning. Friday morning we start.
Yeah. I'll be there on Thursday though. So, I guess I was gonna say if I have a break in my matches for a little while, I'm playing the event.
We'll stay in touch. We'll stay in touch. Okay, I want to get to know all about Lonnie. So go ahead, Lonnie. I'll mute my mic and figure this out.
Okay, so I guess Lonnie, you're a WPBA pro. Before we get anybody else in here, what's your ranking? Do you have a ranking?
Yeah, so I think I'm at like 42nd. I'm only part-time. So right now with my current personal life, I own a business in my hometown and I have a steady clientele. And so I'm not really in a position to quit my personal life and play professionally full-time. So right now I'm currently part-time. I do run inside the top 40s. I do have to miss 3 or 4 events a year, which makes it tough. But as long as I stay within the top 48, I usually end up getting invites, and hopefully I can stay ranked high enough that I eventually get to the point in my personal life where I can put more effort into the game. Because I do believe that I'm easily a top 32 player inside the WPBA on a regular basis if I had the time to put into it. So I get to do, plus I'm lucky, I get to do a lot of the other fun stuff. I do a lot of the commentary for the WPBA, and I've been talking and in the works with some stuff with Women in Pool, Miss Gloria Jean, shout out. And so I am in the mix, and I am kind of on the mix of both sides, the business side and the playing side. So but I would prefer to be playing full time. It's just that right now my life doesn't allow that. So
sure. I always prefer to.
I'm getting there. I still play in a lot of amateur national events too. Right now, while I'm outside the top 32 ranking, like you and I were able to play in the BNEA International Championships in the doubles. And if I get inside the top 32, they start to pull you back from some of those events. And then I surely, once you get inside the top 16. So I do have goals in the long term, but right now I have to be happy with what I can invest my time in. And of course I want to make sure that I'm investing my time in winning pools. So if I have to do it from the amateur side, because that's what I have time for, then sorry, everybody, I'm going that way.
Yep, absolutely. So,
yeah.
I guess that's an introduction to Lonnie. Welcome to the show. As I guess I'm happy to have you. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm not mad about being your Robin.
Well, you might have to get in line with Jim on that. Jim gets pretty territorial over,
he's fine. I love him too. I love listening to him. You guys are really funny, and I've listened to quite a few of your podcasts over the last year. I've really tried to be involved in, and I like that you guys have different opinions too. Sometimes mine align, sometimes they don't, but it's pretty cool. I like the pool chatter. I like talking about pool.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, speaking of talking about pool, Chris, welcome. Hi, Chris. You're no longer the newest person on the podcast. How does it feel? You can do it, little buddy. Nope, we can't hear you, but you can do it. So down at the bottom, there's going to be...
I felt like I went through that too. I feel bad because I went through the exact same thing trying to get back in.
I think what just happened is Chris got a little territorial that he's not the newest person on. He got a little jealous and just decided to bow out, and I think that's what happened.
No, come back. Come back. Don't leave me alone with Nate.
Ouch. My heart. Demetrius, you figuring out your microphone?
I don't have much of a plan. Is it?
Nope.
Yeah. I could reboot my computer. Let me try rebooting. I'll join you guys again at 5.
Yeah, that might work. Okay. Chris, you want to talk to us yet? Oh, why can't we hear you? No. So down at the bottom, there's like a little settings tab or the little settings gear. Click that to go to audio. Make sure that your microphone is connected and working. And if not, who knows? If not, Lonnie and I will just sit here and talk.
Yeah. I'm kind of reading the chat right now. I'm like checking out what's happening here. Hi, Gord.
Yeah, everybody say hi to Lonnie. Everybody welcome her to the podcast. Make her feel welcome.
There's quite a few people already that I've seen here that I've seen on some of our streams with the WPBA as well. So thanks for joining.
And then everybody make fun of Chris because he can't figure out his microphone.
Yeah, make fun of anybody but me, okay? Like,
it's fun. Okay, well, let's talk about the European Champion or the European Open. What did you I guess the new event. What did you think, Lonnie?
So I love the event actually. The break format changed the dynamic of that event so much. It was very cool to see all the top players have to make moves in a rack versus just breaking and running like robots. I enjoyed that part of it. Like you don't get to see some of those creative pushes and the safety play. And my goodness, it was almost like I heard people shouting like alternate break, and I was like, why? This is almost like alternate break. Yeah. Like it's almost the same thing. Like especially in the finals, like I feel like if Albin broke, Shane won the rack. If Shane broke, Albin won the rack. And had we held par, Shane would have won that tournament based on that. But we lost it there at the end. So
I definitely it does not have to be alternate the break, but one thing that did drive me nuts is like the break was so perfect for the beginning, and then they switched to the hand rack. It's just, I don't understand why you would switch to hand rack. I thought the hand rack was a completely unnecessary thing when you were already getting the benefits. I mean, of course, and this was a planned thing, so it's not like they just decided halfway through that they were going to do it. I mean, this was always the plan. But I think in the future, I just don't think you need to have that hand rack anymore. I think that the break is tough enough as is that hand rack doesn't have to happen. Just throw them up on the template and let them go.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Especially when they went to 9 on the spot and then breaking from the break box. Like they didn't need the hand rack. They just didn't. And I think that we also seen in a couple matches, and I can't remember the exact match, but there were 2 or 3 9s on the break, and that's a racking error, in my opinion, when it's shooting into that bottom right-hand corner pocket. But I don't see the point. Why allow them to template rack the whole tournament and then switch it up on them? And I get that it's, it's known, it's discussed. I'm sure all the players were aware, but it's still just, why change the dynamic? It was already tough enough for them with the template rack.
Yeah.
Yeah, no cue ball control. Like
they were getting the desired effect out of the template with the 9. Yeah. But there was still a decent amount of 9-ball breaks, or golden breaks, I should say. But I think the golden breaks this time came from crossing that 1 ball through the stack and kicking that 9-ball into the corner, into the side pocket, banking it into the side pocket. Where what you were talking about before when it was 1 on the spot is that it's just an error in racking, and that 9-ball was just going straight to that bottom left corner. I think that's
but I think weren't those 9 balls? I mean, those 9 balls were leaking out of the bottom of the rack, though, weren't they?
Well, they definitely were when the 1 was on the spot.
Well, no, I meant from this particular tournament. I thought that some of the players were I thought it was a rack thing. So I'm probably wrong because I wasn't there. But just from watching it, I thought that they were feeling like it was a referee racking error. Like maybe there was a gap somewhere, but because they're not supposed to be able to make the 9, but they were coming through the pack and banking it back towards that right-hand corner. So
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was actually playing an event this weekend myself. And so when I was playing this weekend, I obviously wasn't able to watch nearly as much. So,
Yeah.
I only watched a little bit. And then when I did sit down to watch is like all of it, we all know what happened with the zone. But okay, well,
that was bad. I was at pool league. I had a pool league makeup match with my friend Tina, and we were there and we were like on our phones, like sweating it, right? Because the finals were getting ready to start, and we were really struggling to get Dazen to come up. And when it stopped in mid match, and like we found it on Facebook, I said, I mean, what are all these people paying this money for if that's not dependable streaming? Like, we may have to find another outlet, Matchroom. Come on. Like, clearly we blew up however you say it, DAZN or Dazen or whatever. Yeah, I mean, clearly there was enough people viewing that it blew up their system. So we might need to come to something else.
Well, it's one thing if it happens one time. I mean, I don't remember the last time that DAZN worked the way it was intended. It definitely wasn't the last two times, because the one time somebody forgot to schedule it. The time before that there was outages, and the time before that it was laggy as all get up, and it was kicking people out. I mean, some people it works perfectly for them, and then some people like you literally can't. I'm a technically pretty savvy person. I know how to make DAZN work if it's going to work, and I couldn't get it to work at all. So I don't know.
Yeah, I have been very blessed with them. So I have not had a lot of problems, but I did with this one, at least on my mobile. Now, I don't know if I had been home, if it would have been different.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, hi, Jim. Hi, Chris. Are you guys working yet?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yay.
Can you hear
I just want to test
me?
my mic. How you doing, Jim? I think I'm in good shape now, Nate.
Maybe not.
Nice.
No?
Just kidding.
I don't know. Demetrius, tell us your favorite
Well, let me
match
go on
story.
this. So there's the break, and then there's this the zone. It's not working. Okay, I'll let you guys take it.
Yeah, we'll get it figured out later on. Sorry, Demetrius. Wait. I want to. Oh, dang it! I wanted to kick him out. That would have made me so much happier. Bummer. Jim, Chris, you guys were there. What do you guys think being on site? Jim, go first.
Can you hear me first?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Kinda. Why you keep going in and out? Okay, Chris, you go first.
Me go first? You can actually hear me, can't you?
Yeah, we can hear you. What a great show this is. We are really doing great today.
What did you say? What was the question? Sorry.
How was the event, buddy? How was
It was good. It was good. It was really good. The venue was class. Again, the setup was brilliant. Everything about it was good. Tables played good. They still had the 4.25-inch pockets, but I think from next season they might have a 4-inch bags. I don't know, but everything was good. Even the break, apart from just that last 16 bit where they changed to the hand rack. But I'm pretty sure they're going to change to just have. Is that my microphone doing that, or is it Jim's?
I don't know. I'll find out. You keep talking.
But I think they'll just do the template throughout now. I don't think they'll change it. I don't think they'll go to hand rack anymore. They won't even attempt it, I wouldn't think.
I don't think they need it, yeah.
Nah.
All right. Jim, what'd you think? What? No.
No. What's going on? Hold on
Now
a
we
second.
hear you. Now we hear you.
Okay. Brilliant event. All the issues that they had from were solved. The break, brilliant. Awesome. You can't hear me, can you?
Barely,
We
mate.
hear like we hear like every third thing that you say, so you just it's fun.
Right,
You need to
hold
leave
on a minute.
You
I'm going to try and get on the Wi-Fi.
leave and come
here.
back
Hold
in.
on.
I'm sorry, everybody. Like, I'm really apologize for this. We went on the same servers as DAZN for this episode just to try it out. You know,
The DAZN thing wasn't just pool that you couldn't watch on there. It was everything was gone. So obviously not great for DAZN, but that's probably like the pool's probably the smallest sport they try on there. I don't think the 10 or 20,000 people trying to watch it on DAZN would have affected anything. They were just having massive issues anyway. People had issues watching the boxing at the weekend as well.
Well, I guess when you have gerbils running your CPUs and your gerbils want to take a little bit of a strike vacation. I don't know. I mean, I think Matchroom eventually has to get away from DAZN. Whether they create their own, whether they turn Matchroom Live into some sort of pay-per-view where they're charging $10 an event or whatever it is, they got to get rid of DAZN. I mean, DAZN is like literally running their name through the dirt. I mean, there are a lot of people. So I have been accused of being a Matchroom apologist in the past from a lot of people, saying that I would just write off everything that Matchroom does that's wrong and it's not a big deal and blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, some of that is true. That is absolutely, some of it is true because they're the hope that we got, right? At the end of the day, Predator's doing some pretty cool things. But without Matchroom, we are right back where we were in 2012. I mean, there's nothing out there without Matchroom. So am I going to give them the benefit of the doubt, generally speaking? Yeah. Does that make me an apologist? I don't know. You can make it up for yourself. But for all the people who really do hate Matchroom and they're looking for any reason to slight them and make them look bad and blah, 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 their continued partnership with DAZN gives them all the ammo needed to do that. They are literally destroying any credibility that they have with a product in the U.S. with that segment of people who want to like just hate them. You are giving them every bit of ammo you need by just not. Why would you pay $10 a month for a service that you can't even access or that can't get it right at all? I mean, it's.
But Matchroom signed a $1 billion deal. Matchroom Boxing signed a $1 billion deal with DAZN like maybe 18 months ago. So they pulled all of their boxing away from Sky Sports in the UK and shifted everything over to DAZN, which is a big deal. It's a big deal in the boxing world anyway. So obviously Matchroom Multisport and the other bits, they follow along with that and they get access into the other territories that still show pool on Sky Sports in the UK and around all the other territories in Europe where Sky Sports exists. But for you guys in America, that's a pain in the ass.
Totally.
It is not great. And I might be wrong in this. I've never really tried, but I don't know that Matchroom Live is available in the States.
I mean, I'm not gonna. There's ways to watch anything you want, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, absolutely. And to be honest, we probably need Matt Poland because he knows everything that there is to know about everything ever. Matt, is Matchroom Live available in the States? I've actually never tried, so I'll give a shout out to Matt because Matt has like compiled every single breaking stat that I could ever need in my entire life. And so I have them conveniently right here in my chat. And so if I sound smart with all my breaking stats, it's literally because of Matt. So don't give me any credit. Give him the credit.
Yeah.
And as we go, Jim.
Yeah, Matt definitely keeps up on that stuff. And I actually enjoy that about him, to be honest. He's a pool fan for sure. I know Matt. I actually have played Matt before. In a Michigan tournament, but he's very knowledgeable and I like it. I kind of like that he's in their chats helping us out, to be honest.
Absolutely. I joked with him in the chat that I need to bring him on the podcast from now on as our stats guy. He'll just sit over in the corner and I'll create like a little just spot like right up here in the top left, and it'll just be his little face. And whenever we give a stat that's wrong, he can just like press a button and his entire thing will just blow up to the size of the screen, and he can say, "Actually," and then I'll give the proper stat. I think that'd be perfect.
Right? He's definitely a statistician. He actually I've seen in the chat, he said he has Matchroom Live, but they geo-lock those broadcasts. So
wherever you sign up, you're gonna have to sign up with your VPN in some distant country.
Other country.
Jim, can we hear you yet?
know. Can you hear me now?
Kinda better for now.
Better. Okay.
Are you
Brilliant event.
running your internet off of gerbils too?
Got a little mouse. It's very tight.
It's very tired. Well, go ahead, try it. We'll see.
I'm on the Wi-Fi at my work. I'm not. But it was. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a brilliant Emily on, I think, day 3 or day 4. I haven't found anything yet to complain about for the podcast. She was quite happy. She let me down. She didn't give me any up until when they changed the break. That's the only thing she's addressed that in the in it afterwards, saying they will be using through the US Open, so that should solve those problems. But the event was great. The scheduling in the first 2 days rolled into 2 halves, so they only had to deal with 100 in the first 2 days, which made it a lot easier. At the moment, I know they're working on the digital pool, but at the moment, upgraded SQ scoring. The break rules, fantastic. Match was really exciting matches. We got to see breaking and running racks.
Jim, is there a way?
Having to
Jim,
get
is there a
into
way
the
that you
rack.
can go on your cellular data? Would that be better?
I wasn't. Maybe. Hold on a second.
This is no good. Yeah, your internet sucks more than DAZN's.
All right, wait a minute. How about now?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, that's much gooder. So much gooder.
All right, I was in the wrong room then. Okay. Break was brilliant. I thought it was. Got to see some proper kicking, some proper outs, some real tactical to get into the rack. Just way more pool. 9-ball became a proper game list. So I really, it's a tougher break for a player of my standard. But I found it very challenging, which is a break that's made for players of my standard. It should be a break that's made for the top guys from the rest of the field. The only thing, when they get it down to the fan, they continue with the same from the last 16 onwards. Or you got a proper tournament with proper.
You literally
nine
walked
ball.
right by where you actually had good Wi-Fi, and right to the spot where you had great Wi-Fi for like a 10-second stretch, and then you just walked to the other side of it. Now it's crap again.
You want to see where I am?
Oh,
You have that at your work,
Yeah,
and you're
that's my
still as
work.
bad as you are. You still can't get out of the
Wow.
second round.
Wow. I played all right. Actually, I was going to get the results.
The only person you beat was a 6-year-old.
barely.
He's already better than you. Wow. Thanks.
Well, that doesn't mean much.
You should have. Yeah. Anyway, very little to complain about. Emily's let me down completely. She gives me something to moan about, but
Oh, yeah, don't move.
very good.
You're moving. Stop moving. We tell you to.
All right.
Oh no, it just sucks. Go on a rabbit hunt for the router and just stand underneath it.
What about now?
This is what you get at the Cue It Up podcast. This is what you get right here. This type of quality.
This
This
is what you get when I say to Nate, I'm working on Tuesday. It would be better to do it on Wednesday. Just do it on Tuesday.
This is what you get when Jim tries to get me back by saying something. 2 words. It's funny because he's like trying to get back. He's like trying to say something. We can't even hear it. All right, Chris, tell us about your tournament. You played in the event. You won your first 2 matches, right?
Yeah, I won my first 2.
Won your first 2.
first two. I played on the first day, so I won my first two on the first day, and then I had the Wednesday off. I didn't play again till the Thursday, but I played my last match on the Tuesday at maybe like 4 o'clock, and didn't play till 1:30 again on Thursday. So it was almost 2 full days, really, almost 2 days off. But yeah, when it came to the second day, I was rubbish, but nothing to do with. I was rubbish against one guy, and the second guy I played brilliant. But that's nothing to do with anything to do with the tournament. That's to do with me being useless 50% of the time. But it was quite interesting having a day off in between. So Jim had the first day off, and I played, and then I had the second day off, and he played on the second day. So they only have to deal with 128 players each day, which I'm sure for the tournament desk and everything is a godsend, because at the other events where, you might have 200 or 180 or 200 players playing on the first day, the tournament desk is getting hammered with people, especially when the digital pool website was being used. Everybody would go to the tournament desk. When am I playing? When's my next game? But using Q-Score this time was just so much easier. I don't know what the plan is, whether they're going to carry on with Q-Score or use digital pool. I don't know. I just seen little Chris say in the chat, does anyone want to make a prediction before the break format changes again when the pros master this new format? I don't think anybody's going to get close to mastering it if you've got to hit it at a decent pace. So something interesting happened on the Tuesday morning, the first day of the tournament. I don't know where Jim was, probably nursing a hangover, but me and Jason Shaw were practicing on the morning, and the referees were going round all the tables and kind of seeing somebody soft break, and they'd go over and say, that's going to be a foul later. And they just kept going around all the tables, and anybody they saw doing a break that they thought wasn't hard enough, they were letting people know before the tournament started, which I thought was really interesting. A really good way to tackle it. Really good way.
Well, I wasn't nursing a hangover. I didn't have to having an hour practice.
Tell us how you really feel, Jim.
Well, I actually brilliant. And everything Chris said, yeah, the scheduling much better. Everybody knew what they were. It was really, really nice to watch as a fan afterwards. And I only the arena was fantastic. The venue was really, really good. Under stalls and everything in a separate room. It was great. I would, put a little bit of carpet underneath the leg. Only thing I would maybe do, but it doesn't really affect it. But it can get a bit bouncy as well. But it was really well ventilated to watch as a fan when you were in the venue. It was a little bit. It was perfect.
Yeah, I'll say
in conditions. It's great.
The finals. It looks like the place was absolutely packed. Chris, were you still there for the finals?
No, I came home to work, but I watched it all throughout. Even the days where the stream tables were on, I don't think you could always tell on the stream how many people were sitting and watching. Obviously, when they moved to the TV production, they'd show the arena a lot more, but there was loads of people. Every single game, there was I don't know, 50 or 100 people sitting in the stands, which on like a Tuesday or Wednesday morning, that's not bad. It's not like it was in a major city or anything. So there's plenty of people watching, not just players, plenty of people I'd never seen before, didn't recognize. So lots of locals going to watch it. It was quite well advertised around the town that we were in. So anywhere that you walked, there was posters everywhere and things. Even if you walk down like the main street to go to a restaurant, there'd be posters everywhere, and different posters with lots of local German players and things on them, and really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pool is massive in Germany. Pool is massive in Germany. It's one of the countries that they should definitely be targeting for future events, and because you're always going to get crowds. The German Bundesliga players are playing all the time. And in Europe, Germany is one of the big ones,
Yeah. I guess an interesting situation. The German ref, Marcellus, right? Marcellus, yeah. Did you guys see the Sanjin
Marcel.
Palavano? Did you guys see
Yeah.
the Sanjin ruling? That is
Yeah.
completely the wrong ruling, right? That is not
No,
a foul.
that's right. Well, that's right. And when he said it, I was kind of like, I can't believe Sanjin didn't know that.
Well, okay, so okay, I wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy because
When he jumped over the ball,
But he miscued and
Okay.
jumped it, so he,
Okay,
Yeah.
so the situation that happened was Sanjin was playing against, was it Shane at the time?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's playing Shane, and he's elevated over a ball just a little bit, so he's got a little bit of elevation on his cue, and he's shooting with bottom spin, and he ends up scooping the cue ball. He ends up hitting low enough, and he miscues that the ball just goes up and over the two ball, goes off the end rail, comes back and makes contact into the two ball, and Marcel immediately calls foul and grabs the cue ball, and Sanjin's like, what? And he's like, that's an illegal scoop shot. And Sanjin's like, I like this. Sanjin's like, are you sure? And he's like, yes, and grabs the cue ball. You cannot call yourself a ref if you call that a foul. That is not a foul. It says right in the WPA rules, if a scoop shot is an intentional jump, it is not a miscue. That is not a foul.
I think it is a foul.
No, it's
Do
not.
you
There's no
think-
way. It has to be an intentional scoop.
yeah, but do you
okay.
guys think that there's a chance that Marcel's called the foul before, because he called it before the cue ball came back and hit the one instead into the rail or the two or whatever it was. He actually called the foul before he made good contact with the object ball and caught the rail. So do you think that there's a chance that he just kind of went with it because he called foul before the ball stopped moving?
If he did, that's even more unprofessional.
Yeah.
I agree, but that's kind of the feel that I got because I didn't think it was a foul offhand either.
Yeah. Well, regardless, it's not a freaking foul. Well, Chris, why do you think it is a foul?
So Mike's just said it. In snooker, that is a foul, and that's why I assumed it was a foul in pool. But Mike's just said, and I absolutely believe what Mike's saying. Mike said it's not a foul. According to the guy who helped write the WPA rules, which is probably Mike for all I know, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was. But in snooker, it's a foul. So that's what I thought it was in 9-ball as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you got to know the rule book. Like,
For a ref, I guess, sure.
It is. Yeah, I mean, he is a snooker ref, so sure, he thinks that it's a foul because of that. But it doesn't. If you're going to ref both sports, you have to get it right. It was absolutely not a foul. It can't be a foul. It was an unintentional scoop of the cue ball. It came back and hit the ball. And, I think it was 2-1 at the time. It was early on in the match. And, Sanjin goes on to lose that match. But maybe, I didn't actually look, I guess now that I think about it, I never looked to see if Shane would have had a run out anyways. I would assume that he would have had some look at the two ball because he I guess, would have ended up crossing it into that left long rail and the cue ball would have went to the left. Maybe he would have had a shot in the side pocket. Maybe he wouldn't have, but he probably would have had a look at it. Maybe that's kind of the difference. And the difference in that, like, if I was Sanjin, I would be pissed because you are literally like hurting the guy's like livelihood by not knowing you are so derelict of your duty to like know the rule book that you are affecting somebody's livelihood. This is his livelihood. If he doesn't make money in a pool tournament, he doesn't make money to eat. Like, I know that's a little bit extreme, but the idea is your job is to know the rule book. And if you can't know the rule book, don't be a ref. It's not like a hard one.
The problem with that rule is then it's not counted as intentionally jumping over the ball. It's a 1 in a million shot without contact the cue ball more than once. It's a foul. Technically, it's 1 in a million that you can play that shot without once or without the ferrule of your cue contact, which is also a foul. It has to be the tip of your cue. No, it's not a foul because it's a miscue, but foul because you can't do it without double hitting the whatever. That's why it's called a scoop. Try playing that shot without contacting the white more than once. It's very difficult. So, and for me, Marcel, he's gone straight over the ball. He's not gay. He's gone straight over the ball he's playing. So So it's a dodgy one.
I don't know, Jim. We literally, like, it's almost impossible to understand. Could you try leaving and coming back in, just see if that helps? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not convinced that you hit. I've gotten that argument that you definitely hit the cue ball twice, and when you scoop a cue ball, and I just don't see why you would hit it twice. Where do you hit the cue ball twice on it?
I think he's saying if you scoop underneath it, you're not going to be able to do that by just scooping with your tip. It's going to have to hit the cue again or something. I think that's what he was getting at. But I mean, I don't think I've ever had that guy ref one of my games. He's extraordinarily professional, even, the snooker, and very, very professional. But I do know that people have had problems with him in the past. So you could sort of see on his face when Sanjin said, "Are you sure?" You could see on his face he was like, "I've seen that guy pull that face before." I know people have had run-ins with him before.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember seeing the replay of that shot, and I didn't think in the replay it looked like he hit it with his ferrule. But in the same respect, I'm not there. It does go to the ref, so you can't really do anything about it. But I really do almost kind of wonder if he made the call quickly and then didn't want to take his judgment back.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Well, he definitely does that. He's got that smugness to him that whatever he says is absolutely always right. We saw the same thing with the Shane Van Boening incident in was it the World Championships, where he hit the rail and the ball at the same exact time?
Yeah.
Right. And he looks at it and he calls a foul immediately. And then he goes back and looks at it, and you can freeze the frame. You can see that the cue ball is touching the rail and the ball at the same exact time. That's a good hit. But he sticks with it because it's like he's so damn smug that he cannot accept the idea of being wrong. I'm being real. Like, the guy acts that way all the time, and I've heard it from a ton of players. Like some players
good.
really
It wasn't
like
just
him.
me.
I've heard it from a lot of players. Some players really like him. Some players absolutely cannot stand him because he thinks he knows everything, and he is unwilling to admit that he did anything wrong. I mean, it goes back. It's the same exact thing last year with the U.S. Open with Aloysius Yap and Shane Van Boening about the time call, the extension call, where he was over at the side basically saying, like, it's a foul, and Emily's like, do what you need to do, and like he just refuses to like the initial thing that he says, he just sticks to it no matter what, and everything else be damned whether it's the right call or not. That's the point of having a replay, is to get it right.
Yeah.
And if the ball is clearly frozen to the rail and the object ball at the same exact time, it can't be a foul.
You're supposed to give the player, if you don't know and it's too close to call, you're supposed to give the player the benefit of the doubt, right? You're supposed to, the player on the table is supposed to have. But in that incident you're talking about with the frozen ball and stuff, there was Jason and a couple of other players who were down by the replay screen, and they were trying to help him without getting involved. But kind of straight away, he snapped and turned around and said to Jason, like, stay out of it, nothing to do with you. Completely fair comment. But you've got all of those guys there that know what the physical possibilities and probabilities are with shots like that. And he just didn't want to listen. That's kind of fair in that scenario, I guess. But
well, really quickly, yes, John Lehman was the referee for that, but Marcellus was behind the screen.
He was,
I was on site for that, and I was on site during that, and like he was behind the scenes, basically saying like John is right. But that's really just another piece of evidence that I'm using it. That one's really not that big of a deal. But the point is like, if you're going to use a replay and like, you just got to know the rule books, one, because you're affecting this person's livelihood. This is their job, and you being bad at your job is affecting their ability to do their job. And two, if you're going to use replay, get it right. Like, the Dr. Dave video that Douglas said, like, it's right there on video. You slow mode it down to the point where you can see it. And ultimately, yes, the ruling does come down to you, but the point of the replay is to get it right, not to prove your inherent bias towards you being correct all the time.
Yeah.
Although a shot like the frozen ball thing, like that's so that's in the moment, that's a shot call. I get that. But this situation where he jumped over the ball and came back, and that snap judgment, that's a little bit different call, because he made that like an instant call, and it was actually, the balls weren't even stopped moving yet. Like, I feel like the referees, if they're going to make calls, they should kind of wait until the ball stopped moving before they just holler foul. Like, I felt like he literally was like foul, and the balls weren't even done moving yet. And like sometimes I think those snap judgments can be really bad. Now the frozen ball, that could be, that could go either way. I agree that now that we know that there's a replay, it should maybe be used for that situation. But in this particular situation, at this particular match, the jumping over the ball and the snap judgment call, when the balls weren't even done moving yet, I think, and then being too proud to take it back, if that's an issue, I don't know. I got that vibe from him that he just didn't want to give that call back. So he went into it with that after he made contact. Because it was almost like he said, after he called foul and the balls weren't done moving. And he kind of like, oh. And then I heard him say, are you sure? And I was like, see, that was a snap judgment. That's a little different than a ball being frozen and something that requires a replay. Yeah. But I didn't feel like that shot was one that should have required a replay. He should have been more cautious as to when he yells foul.
And maybe what needs to happen in the future is like, it's like tennis, right? You hit the ball out, so the referee calls out, and you get 2 challenges per match where you can actually go to the stupid little Rolex cam and you do the figurative shot on it. Should we be allowed to actually have the players be able to challenge the calling before the ball stopped rolling? Because at the end of the day, if Sanjin had a challenge there and he called the challenge on that call, nobody in the world is going to still call that a foul, because the WPBA rule or the WPA rule books states very clearly a scoop is not a foul. It's only a foul if it's an intentional scoop. This is clearly not an intentional scoop. So if he challenges that, he would have to win, right? He has to win it. But theoretically,
are they allowed certain challenges though? They're not, are they? That's not part of the.
No, but
okay.
It's, if that is the rule, then it's never going to happen again, right? It's happened on TV. Everybody's seen it. The referee, he must know himself now. I'm sure somebody told him straight afterwards if that's the case. So, yeah, but
maybe they have the ability to call a challenge. But I mean, with how like smug he was to grab the cue ball immediately and just look at him and say, no, it's a foul. Like, does a challenge work if the referee is unwilling to allow the challenge?
Yeah, and the ref shouldn't be there to have any influence over the game whatsoever, right? They should be, not seen. They shouldn't have any adverse influence over how the game plays out. But that's obviously what's happened this time. One more thing about that guy before I forget. The referee, it's Marcel, right? That's his name.
Yeah, Marcel.
Might be last year or the year before. He was refereeing a game. It was on Sky Sports anyway, so it was on the TV. But the player that was playing kept leaving their chalk on the table, and Marcel told him once or twice. And the third time, it got picked up on the microphone, and Marcel said to him as the player was walking back to his chair, "I don't want to have to tell you again." Now, what's he doing talking to players like that? I know that I'm not emotionally stable enough to have not told him where to go if he'd said that to me. And I know there's plenty of other players that I spoke to afterwards. But I'm talking about guys that are at the very, very top who said to me, I would have lost that game because I would have told them to bleep, bleep. But
do you know who he said it to? It had to have been some like player on the come up or something.
I can't remember.
Could you imagine him saying that to Jason Shaw? Like,
well, this is what I'm talking about,
like
right?
7 years ago? Like 7 years ago, Jason
Oh, yeah,
Shaw.
I wouldn't. Yeah. Or Earl. Earl would be a great one.
Oh, my God. Like,
But
Jason Shaw's like plenty fine now to like be able to handle that properly, but like a little bit like 7 years ago, Jason's a little bit more fiery. Or Billy Thorpe.
Or what about Mika?
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine him saying it to Mika?
But the truth is he probably wouldn't do that because he has more respect for those players. I mean, right?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Maybe? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
If this isn't the perfect description as to why we need more John Lehman and the best ref in the world that doesn't get any jobs, why am I Chris? He's your guy. The Nigel Reese. Right,
Nigel, yeah. I don't know what happened to him. Such a lovely guy. I don't know where he is.
Well, he had a fallout, we'll say.
Well, yeah, there we go. But I think Mike's also saying in the chat that, I don't know, Mike, is there any truth to John not getting invited because he worked the Predator tourney? Nate, you'll know, you love all the gossip.
I'll find out. I don't know. I'll find out, though. I didn't hear that until now, but I mean, it's possible. I mean, I know that Predator seems to want to hang around more of the snooker refs these days, and I would assume that is because as they get quote unquote bigger and bigger, they're going to want to keep people on a payroll, and if they can keep snooker refs on and have them work the 9-ball, they don't have to hire 2 sets of refs. So I mean, it makes sense for them to hire only snooker refs because
Matchroom, you mean, right?
Yeah,
you said Predator, but you mean, yeah, Matchroom area.
Sorry. I meant yeah. I mean, that would make sense to me.
Well, I guess they're already on a wage or something, right? They're probably on a salary, so
yeah, you're just repurposing players that or refs that you already have, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that would make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason. Yeah, I mean, would John have made an incorrect call? Doubt it. You know,
And if he did, I'll guarantee you that John is very firm. He's a very firm ref, but he's also humble in a sense that I don't think that he would have got it wrong to begin with, but I don't think he would sit there and tell you that he's right and you're wrong.
Yeah,
while smugly grabbing the cue ball.
But John's really personable as well. The first time I went to America to play, I didn't really know many of the rules and stuff, and I saw him at Griff's, so I just grabbed him for 10 minutes and asked him a load of questions, and he told me everything that I could have possibly needed to know. I'm not sure that if I went up to that Marcel guy and asked him the same thing, could I have a few minutes of your time, that he would have been so accommodating. But John's just great to have around the place anyway, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's a good tournament director. He knows everything about everything. He's seen everything that's gone wrong in a tournament ever.
Yeah. I mean, he called me out for having too big of a logo on my Predator, or in a Predator event once, so I wasn't happy about that. But, you know, I guess I got over it. I still hold a grudge for that, but I don't know. I guess we're probably running long on this one. Let's just talk about the event. Albin wins. It turns out that actually having the break was a disadvantage. Now, it was a disadvantage partially because of that hand rack, I feel like. You actually were 49% to lose your break. I mean, do you want to break the balls if you have a 1% chance of losing? I mean, people play blackjack and they have a 1% chance of losing, basically, if you play by the book. So
you're going from the last 16 onwards.
Yeah.
From the last 16 onwards, yeah. So hand rack's got a massive, massive part to play there. Template rack, it's not going to happen. I don't think. Not going to have the same problem. It was much more enjoyable. I only heard one person complain about the break, and when I asked them about it, they couldn't really tell me why. So everybody loved it.
They crushed it. I mean, it's Matchroom nailed it. You know, I hate to say I told you so, but they created a new event out of thin air, and there's no history with this event. It's just a brand new event. Basically, they used to try some stuff out, and it worked out to be perfect. I mean, almost everybody loved these breaking rules. And the only people that really were passionate against it are the same people that are passionate against damn near everything in the history of forever. And I thought it was entertaining. Yeah. So, I mean, like Lonnie, I think you said it perfectly. Like, it's you got to see pool.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you got to see a tactical side from these players. And I think Jim, in between his, all the squirrels and chipmunks that were running through his microphone, I think that he was trying to say that we got to see a tactical side of pool from some of these top players that we don't usually get to see because they're in robot mode and they're just breaking and running. And so I enjoyed it because I got to see some really great push outs and some great safety plays off the 1 in the 2-ball early starts of the rack. And just getting the break did not guarantee that they were going to win the rack. And so actually it was kind of nice to sit there and be like, oh, well, Shane's got the break, but that doesn't mean he's going to win, and for once, typically when Shane or Albin or any of the top 20 players, really, if they're breaking the balls, they're favored to win the rack. in the previous break format. This one, you just never knew what was going to happen. You saw scratches, you saw things that you just never saw in the old format. And so I enjoyed it. Like I learned a lot actually watching this tournament.
Yeah, and Jim said Albin ran a 7-pack. So, had they stayed with the template, Albin running a 7-pack would have been more than 50%, and I would have been right then. But they switched to the hand rack. I completely forgot. Like when we were talking about this last week, for anybody who watched last week's show, that I made a prediction that one of the last 4 players will break and run 50% of their racks because they'll figure out the break. And that was before I remembered that they don't do hand rack at the end. So you got to the point where they were, let's see here, looking at Matt's stats, the break and run percentage was 27%. And on Sunday, the break and run percentage was 19%. So you want to talk about hand racking? Like, I mean, you're going to get to see a lot of innings, but I don't think you want to make it so tough to where you can't literally make a ball no matter what, and it has to go back and forth. Like there has to be some excitement of break and runs. Like there's got to be, right, Chris? I mean, this is your event. What, you agree with that?
Oh, 100%, 100%. The one thing, I mean, all the stuff that Lonnie said, 100% added to the game. But there were a couple of times where I saw people go hill during the event or get on the hill and they'd maybe struggled with their break. And they'd switch for their last break to a head-on break to try and get the 9 moving, trying to get it to come back up. Albin did it. Loads of people did it throughout the week, though. But having the 9 moving now, which barely ever happened before, nobody wants to win games like that. I only had one during the week, but I wish I'd had more. But just the risk of the golden break being there, all of it adds to it. The safety, the push outs, golden break in play, not guaranteed a ball. The cue ball whizzing back across the table a couple of times. You saw Shane scratch twice or 3 times in a row in the same pocket, going twice across the table in the final. So all of it just adds to the drama. It's way better.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that it made the players more tired? Because I thought the players looked a little more tired at the end of this tournament than they typically do. Do you think that this put an extra mental strain on these players?
I think it might. I think possibly for the top boys, it might have been more of a strain because it was last knockout from the last 64. So it wasn't double elimination down to the 16 or whatever. So there's a lot more risk involved for those guys.
Yeah, and you've added an unpredictable break format to it, and now you've got all this extra play that they don't normally, these extra, to use an APA phrase, these extra innings to the table. I thought Albin looked very tired at the end of this tournament. Shane, I thought Shane looked okay, but
wasn't it Albin's birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe there was some extracurriculars going on. Who knows? It's his birthday after all.
No, that was probably for after the event, Nate. I'm sure after the event he partied like a rock star would be my guess.
But it was nice to see. Sorry, mate. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm going to make a dumb comment.
It was nice to see. It wasn't nice to see, but it was good to see Shane as the final went on. You could see the anxiety on his face kind of building as his break wasn't working more and more and more. To see someone who
those veins start popping out in his forehead.
Yeah, to see someone who's sitting in his chair and kind of muttering to himself and looking around. Of course, everybody's going to do that from time to time, but it's interesting to see even the pressure that format created got to even him at the end. It was
definitely,
it was good to see.
Definitely. I mean, I thought it was awesome. I guess going into the rest of it, congratulations, Shane. Second place. There's a lot of there's nothing that pisses me off more than when people. Okay, let's just clear this up. He crosses the 3-ball. It was was it the 3-ball or the 2-ball? 3-ball, right? The 3-ball that he crossed into the top right. Phenomenal shot, amazing shot. Gets a shot on the 4-ball. The people who are torching him, saying that he then dogged an easy 4-ball or 5-ball.
5-ball, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. They know nothing about pool.
No.
If you think that is an easy shot, you have to maximize that pocket. You have to literally be cutting that into the absolute most inside part of that pocket so that you can get your cue ball over enough to be able to play that 6-ball afterwards. And you're shooting off of a rail, length of the table, into basically a millimeter worth of pocket. And you think that he dogged an easy shot? Like, you know nothing about position. You know nothing about the game.
I think if you asked Shane what he thinks about it, he would say that he dogged it. But he's a different level from the rest of us, right? So him dogging something, it wasn't a difficult shot for him. Everything accumulated. It came to...
No, I don't know about that. I think that's a difficult shot for anybody.
I don't.
I agree. I think Shane would. I agree with him. I think Shane would say he dogged it, but Shane has a different mentality. He just never thinks he's supposed to miss those balls, which I agree with. He's one of the best players in the world. But it was not an easy shot, Nate. I agree totally. That was not an easy shot. I think the 3-ball crossbank was probably easier than that shot at that moment.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this. I agree with you, Chris, that Shane will say that he dogged it. Especially now, maybe in the future. But I will tell you that I think that if Shane watched Albin miss that shot, or Fedor miss that shot, or anybody else, he would give it the proper respect that it deserves. The fact that he was the one that missed it is the reason he said he would dog it. I might be wrong on that, but I'm telling you, you tell me right now. Don't look at it as from Shane's perspective. How tough is that shot? On a scale of 1 to 10, how tough is that shot?
Did you expect him to miss it?
I didn't expect him to miss, but I did not expect him.
I was really surprised when he did, but that's just because we all hold him in such high esteem. Anytime something goes wrong, you kind of think, wow, like how's that happened to Shane? But
I would say that I was on the 50-50 scale of that one, where
okay,
even if he makes it, I don't know that he gets positioned, because if he makes it into the center of the pocket, he's going right at the 6-ball at best.
Mike's just said it, yeah. Mike's just said it.
Yeah, or he's just inside of it, and he's going to end up getting very, very close. He might end up, kissing right up to it and being froze to the side of it. Like to make that ball and execute it to a shot is like, that is so tough. If you think that that's an easy shot, you literally know nothing about this game, and you better just stick to your keyboard, because you're never going to get out of the second round of any tournament ever. Like, that shot was brutally tough.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I almost agree with Lonnie there. That shot might be tougher than the crossbank. The crossbank, you just got to pocket it, right? You don't have to do anything. Just get that cue ball moving. I'm not trying to say that the cross was easy, because that was super tough too. I can't even believe he took it on, to be honest with you. But
I thought he was going to play safe.
I thought he was too. Honestly, I thought he was too. Or maybe he tries to spin it in, but like, what I was actually watching that with a buddy, Jason Gibbs of mine. And when Jason's like, oh, I think he can see it, I'm like, I don't know if he can or not. He's like, what would you do here? And my response was, I would start praying. Pick your favorite deity and start praying. Because like the chances of you making that ball, getting position, and still running out, like, super, super tough.
Yeah. I think that I actually thought he was gonna maybe jack up and use some right hand spin and throw the 3 to the pocket, just making it, because I think he had enough of it to do that. But he
actually shot a ball like that just a few racks prior, almost the same
it
shot.
would be right, exactly. And so I really thought maybe he was going to go that route. I liked the cross bank because it was a little bit more. You had full cue ball that way to come around the 2 rails for the 5-ball. But I really was. I guess, I think at that moment, I just didn't expect him to miss the 5. Although I remember saying after he made the 3, man, this 5 is not a gimme. Like, he's going to have to bear down to make this ball and to play shape getting to the 6. And so I remember thinking that to myself at the time. I might have even said it to my husband at the time. But regardless, like, anybody who's sitting on the keyboard or on the other side of the screen that's not in these tournaments playing for this kind of money has no idea what kind of pressure that is. So I don't really take much weight when I see the keyboard warrior saying stuff about it.
And Shane is just as polarizing basically as Matchroom Sports. You either love them to death or you hate him.
Mm-hmm.
And
People
usually
don't like
kind of.
Shane?
Oh, are you kidding me?
I've never heard anyone say anything bad about it, but I only know like the 150 players who play in the tournaments. I don't know any.
Oh no, I'm talking about fans. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I don't know anyone like that.
Watch the chat. I mean, he gets some bad comments.
Really?
Like, Yeah, especially on YouTube. Yeah, he gets some bad comments, like
Oh,
really, really, really rude people.
but I mean, you're talking about a guy who's
I would say he's 90-10. 90% of people adore him, and 10%.
Okay,
And a lot of it's Matchroom or Moscone Cup related, of course. But like, you know, if you hate the USA, right? I mean, you're gonna hate Shane Van Boening.
But I think like in 10 or 15 years' time, when Shane's coming towards the tail end or at the end of his career, I think that people are going to be putting his name in the mix as the best the best 9-ball player ever of everything he's done before. And now there's the new era of the game with the massive tournaments on TV. You know the damage he's doing. Unbelievable player. People will be talking about him in a decade as they might just be flat out saying he's the best 9-ball player ever. He's, you know, unbelievable talent, unbelievable determination, just crazy.
Yep, I don't disagree. You know, I still like Efren personally, but I think there's an aura and an atmosphere around Efren that even transcends his greatness as on the table. I think he's such a likable character that nobody hates Efren. Like you can find plenty of people that hate Shane. You can find plenty of people that hate Josh, Jason. I don't know if I've ever met anybody that hates Fedor. I mean, Fedor is very, very, very likable too, but like Efren had that. I don't want to say this in a disrespectful way, but like he has that like clown kind of like aura to him, where like you ask you ask him how he executed a shot, and he'll just go, I got lucky, like like yeah, I got lucky, and you know he's taking on silly shots where he's four-railing the ball instead of just shooting it straight in, and he's playing that bank carom off into the side pocket, like all these things that they're just fun. I mean, he's doing the dances when he makes these kick shots. He's just such a likable character that is if you just line up resumes, Efren's and Shane's, does Efren have a better resume than Shane's? I don't know. I don't know that that's true.
I don't know, but Shane's going to win more. Like
more people.
If we're going to call these major events now, he's going to win more majors going forward. Maybe this is what will be called the major era because there are 5 or 6 major events a year, so maybe it will be called that.
Okay, that's where we cue Matt Poland right there.
Who has a better resume?
Who has a better resume, Matt?
Yep.
Like we're waiting now.
Yep. Nobody say a word. Just stop.
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, I really don't know. I was young when Efren was in his prime. I was very young, just coming into watching the game and falling in love with the game. And so I really don't know that. I mean, I've watched most of Efren's matches on YouTube. That's how I was familiar with Efren. So.
Yeah. So I guess as the event as a whole, 1 to 5 stars. What do you give it, Lonnie?
4.5.
4.5. How do they improve?
Shane needs to win it.
Okay. So Shane, get working. Chris,
right?
0 to 5 stars.
4.8. Just that little bit at the end. 4.9. Just the hand rack thing at the end. Especially in Jason's game where you saw the line kept tracking towards that bottom pocket. It's a complication that's just not required. Hand racking, just don't need it. The break's random enough now. So
I agree. I have 4.99, and that's the same thing. Just get rid of that final 16. You get rid of that final 16, you might have. Now, do I want to see this format for every single one of their events? I don't know that I do. I still like the idea of something being like I like the idea of seeing the Whirlpool Masters with the one on the spot. I want to see the one on the spot with 3.9 inch pockets, something like that.
The invitationals, Moscone, Masters, World Cup. I think they might do a different break format. But the Opens, and the Worlds, I think they stick with this.
I think so. I like tighten those Masters pockets up to 3.9 like you had them 2 years ago. When I believe Alex, was it 2 years ago? Was it? Yeah, Alex won on the 3.9 inch pockets, I believe. That was amazing. Bring those back for the Master. the World Cup of pool. I don't know. Maybe you can find something else for the World Cup of pool. Maybe you put the bottom ball on the spot. That might be fun for that. Just make it a complete clown show. If you're gonna fly 20 hours to play a race to 7, you might as well just make it completely clownish, right?
The World Cup of pool is just fun, though. That's like, in my opinion, that's a fun event, and I think the players enjoy it too because they don't get to play those formats ever. So I like the fast-paced, short race, winter break format. Watch some of these guys partner up and play some great pool. That's okay. It's a little more entertaining than a World Open tournament. But yeah, I mean, I think I agree with all your points, everybody's points on that. I think the break needs to stay with the template rack and not go to the hand rack, and change the rules for the more fun events that are more geared towards fans versus, world titles. And I think Matchroom's right on the money. I mean, I think they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, they're willing to grow. They're listening to the players. They're, putting their feedback in. And I think that they made I think we all would agree that they made a mistake switching to the 16, hand rack at 16. And I would venture to bet a lot of money that they're going to learn from that. And I would guess that they won't go away from that. Why would they? I mean, at some point in time, you still want to maintain like a 30. I would think somewhere between a 30 and a 35% break and run percentage. I think that's the sweet spot where, you can 35% break and run percentage. You can break and run, 6 out of 13 racks, and that's, if you have a good match, that's good. I would say that's a good mixture between back and forth, and this is titles. 82 for Shane Van Boening and 43 for Efren. I mean, of course, it kind of depends on what you consider a title at that point, because I'm sure Efren's won about 1 million small events around Texas when he was, freshly over and everybody thought he was Mexican. I'm sure he was winning like every single event he was playing in
What
Texas.
Did they used to call him? He had a different name, right? What was his name?
Oh,
He had
I don't
pseudonym
remember.
he used.
Michael, no.
Yeah,
Panozzo.
Michael.
What did Efren go by when he came over into the States for the first time? Yeah, he was playing under a fake name, but I don't think from what my understanding of it, he was playing under a fake name, but when they figured out who he was, he didn't deny it, is what I was told. Oh yeah.
Cesar Morales, that's it. Yeah. Matt Poland, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah, no, knock it off, Matt. You're only here for stats. Yeah, so that's a bunch of people knew that. Apparently, we need to have. Oh my God, look at this. Wait, I want to try something.
Everybody is showing. Everybody knows it, but us. That's not good.
Hey, you guys should start a podcast. Hey, look, even I got it. Haha.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, so let's move on from there, I guess, unless we have anything else that we want to say, which we don't, because why not? Josh and Shane are locked in for the Mosconi Cup now. I guess, what are our thoughts? Nobody's surprised by this, but Lonnie, you have any thoughts on it?
I was watching it a little bit during that Open, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why, but I'm a big FSR fan. So I like his pace of play, and I just think he's got a lot of character at the table. And so I was actually kind of hoping the FSR would be the first one in, but I still hope that they pick him up for the European team. Although I'm Team USA all the way, I just think that FSR's had a good run, and I think that Katie's gotten to do it before. Like, why can't we? You know what I mean? It's time. He's ready.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is my second favorite Spaniard. I agree. I like him.
Who's your first?
You don't know? Take a guess.
No. Am I going to be, can I pronounce the name?
My favorite is Jose Alberto Delgado. He is such a cool dude.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah.
I hung out with him in Vegas for a little while. He's such a cool dude. He's such a fun guy. And he plays amazing. Like people don't realize how good that dude actually plays. I mean, we saw him play Shane this time, so like that was a lot of people's introduction to who he actually was as a player. But I mean, he gets over. I mean, it's a lot like Max Lechner, to be honest with you, like Max Lechner, where Albin and Mario were just like so overshadowing him for so long, but he is such a phenomenal player. And I believe that's like a lot of Jose Delgado is like, he absolutely is a beast. He just gets overshadowed by FSR David Al-Qaidi.
Yeah, but FSR has not really been, he's been playing for a while, but he's not really shown his talent as much as he has in the last year or so.
He's definitely hitting a new level.
Yeah, he is hitting a new level, and I like watching him. I don't want to be mean, Nate, but I have to go back to work.
You can do that. That's why I went with you first, because I figured you were probably scooting out of here soon.
Thank you.
So Chris and I, Chris, any thoughts on the Mosconi announcements? I mean, obviously this was kind of obvious, but what do you think?
Nothing really surprising.
Welcome to the show, Lonnie. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
No, nothing surprising, right? The next big one's US Open.
Or they will announce the next two.
Well, the next two there, yeah.
Yep. So
who's in already?
Shane and Filler.
Shane, Filler, okay.
Yeah, so it looks like the updated. So I guess here I'll throw these up on screen so everybody can kind of see what they are, because it's easy to do. And here we go. So we got Shane Van Boening at 86,000 and Joshua Filler. That is why they were in. Actually, Josh leapfrogged Albin by placing deep enough, so good for him. Albin and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz are separating themselves from the rest of the field. Mario, he is going to have a great tournament to catch up to one of them to leapfrog into the 3 guaranteed spots. But the next American, keep looking because they are not on this list.
So I don't. The last few times I've been on, we've spoken about the European team a lot, but the US team European team's going to take care of itself, and they're going to have 5 unbelievable players, regardless of what happens. But the US team, they are not going to have an unbelievable team, no matter what happens. Someone who I watched at the World Championship, I saw again this week, didn't play good this week, but that guy, is it Jeff Beckley? Jeff Beckley? Do you know who I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I know of the name, but what's...
Good player, solid, and he's better than quite a lot of the other US guys that I've seen anyway, young ones included. What do you think your 5's going to be?
I mean, it's super tough to say. I think that there's 3 locks right now. I think Shane, Oscar, and Sky are locks, no matter what. I mean, regardless of the quote-unquote wild cards, I think that they just 3 players with wild cards included that are guaranteed in are Sky, Shane, and Oscar. Because I think Oscar's playing it. He's playing everything, right?
Okay.
At some point, he's playing everything, and he's making runs. I mean, he is. Plus, he's second in the money list right now at 9,000.
Okay.
Sky is at 6,000. I mean, at some point, you got to just kind of say, well, no one's going to question whether Oscar deserves to be there from a talent perspective. I mean, at least when you look at the rest of the U.S., I mean, he's there. He's got the talent. So then it comes down to – go ahead.
If we look at players that definitely aren't going to be in, we say definitely, but probably definitely aren't. So Corey Jules not going to be in. He won't be in. Corey Jules probably not. Corey's not going to be in, right?
Sure.
Billy's not going to be in.
That I don't know. Why do you think Billy wouldn't be in?
Why would he be in?
Because he's talented enough to be in there.
Has he played enough of some? Even guys finishing 65th are probably going to,
Well, let me
accumulate more points.
Let me give you this. There's 2 wild cards, right? So at the end of the day, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I just got to pick on somebody. I'll pick on somebody that isn't very popular, anyways. Jonathan Pinnegert is going to probably end up having pretty close to the same amount of points as Billy Thorpe. Do you want to have that guy represent your team over Billy?
I'd have that Jeff Beckley guy probably.
Why Jeff Beckley?
He's solid. Looks like a good player. Solid player. Looks good.
He's 113th on the money list.
Yeah, but I mean, with that Pinner guy, where did he get his points from? Same as that Hogue guy, Greg Hogue. Where did he get his points from?
It's Greg Hogue won the Sandcastle Open, which
And
had
Pinner
Shane
guy?
Wolford, Shane
I,
Wolford in it,
I
Jason
seen him play.
Shaw.
I don't. He's not ready to play in any Mosconi Cup either. The Wolford guy, I don't think. He might have just had a bad tournament,
Well,
but he didn't look
see,
like.
this is all of this is my point is like if you don't take Billy, who are you going to take?
Yeah, I'd definitely take that Beckley guy.
Well, that Beckley guy, like I don't really know who he is, and like you're saying he's a proper player and like he's ready for it. But
I think Carl said, Carl Boyd said he'd been around years ago, maybe like IPT days or something, maybe, but then disappeared for like a decade or something. I don't know.
But... Well, here's his finishes: 400, no finish, $1,000, no finish, no finish, no finish, no finish.
No finish means he hasn't turned up to the event though.
No finish means, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But he plays good. He looks like he can play well.
So, I mean, if you're asking me who I would take right now, are you asking me who I would take, or are you asking me who I think would be taken?
The best 5 you could put together
So
for your life.
Who I would take?
Yeah.
For my life, I would go to Europe on a hostage spree, and I would...
No, but honestly, who's the best 5 you take? If you absolutely... For $1 million, who are you the 5 you're taking?
Shane, Sky, Billy, Oscar... Tyler, probably. Tyler's at least shown that he can do it. But I don't think that's going to end up happening. I mean, Tyler is in a slump, absolutely. I mean, he's not playing his game at the end of the day. Like,
he's a professional pool player. He's playing full time though, right? That's his job. That's what he does, right?
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. It's quite a big slump for a professional.
And Billy isn't playing at all.
Yeah, he's just started up his own business, right? So Billy isn't a full-time professional. Jeff Beckley isn't. Tyler is a full-time professional. That's what he does, yeah? Is that right?
So, who?
Billy's not a full-time professional. He's just started up his own business. So his head isn't in pool all the time. Not turned up to some events and things. But whereas Tyler is playing full-time, that's what he does. And I think he gets up and like trains and practices at like 3 in the morning.
There's a great addition that I didn't even think about.
Jeremy Seaman?
Jeremy Seaman is playing some great pool. But the problem with Jeremy Seaman is he's not playing. He's playing all the Predator events because I'm hoping I'm able to say this. If not, sorry, Jeremy. I spoke with Jeremy at the previous event. One of the previous events, I sat down and got dinner with him in Wisconsin, actually. And he said that the reason he's playing all these events now is his sponsor, Sieberts, has been funding basically all of the Predator tours because Predator's partners with Sieberts.
Right.
And so like that's why he's been playing all the Predator events, is because they've basically been funding him to go to these things. And it's showing in his game. I mean, he's still not a full-time player either, but he's playing some pretty damn good pool for the Predator events. Like, obviously he's playing the Predator events because he's being funded to them. So is he going to, show up for the US Open? Is he going to show up to the International Open, stuff like that? But I'm telling you what, Jeremy Seaman plays some really underrated pool. He could, to be honest, he might be my 5th. Maybe I pick Sky, Shane, Oscar, Jeremy, and Tyler. Maybe that's my new 5. Maybe I like that dynamic more. If Billy plays, maybe I'll take Billy, but over one of those players. But that's a great. Jeremy Seaman is playing some awesome freaking pool. Yeah, he's like a 775 Fargo or something like that. Jeremy Seaman is. So, I mean, that's great. That's high. He plays great pool. I like it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Oh, somebody says Tony Chohan. Does Tony even play 9-ball rotation? I don't know, does he?
No, Tony plays great rotation.
Oh, I'm sure he can. But does he play in the cup? He doesn't play tournaments, does he? No,
not enough.
So I'm sure. No doubt.
But I'm telling you, Tony Chohan, like, he is a very, very underrated like rotation player. Like, people like super disrespect him, thinking that like he's just a one pocket specialist. That guy can play some goddamn rotation. I'm telling you, he plays good.
Oh, I'm sure he does. Yeah.
Especially if you're not playing hardly any at all, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know who. Who do you think? Well, Frank Andrews. Well, Frank Andrews. Why not just select on merit? We can select on merit. I mean, theoretically, we can. I mean, I'm just looking at Fargo rate. Do we want a 700 to a 730 level player playing on Team USA? Because if we go off of merit and who deserves it based off who's playing, that's where it's going to be at. Now, if they're ready at 720, that's just a number. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit if you're a 720 Fargo or a 420 Fargo. If you're playing 850 speed or you're playing 780 speed, sure. But you get to a point where there will not be a player on Europe that's under 800. Just a guess. Maybe Mario he sneaks in there. And I think he's very close to 800, but I don't know if he's exactly 800.
You don't think Earl will get a wild card pick?
I don't think he deserves a wild card pick.
I don't know if he deserved one last time, but
no, I don't think so.
But then they picked Efren for the World Cup, and Efren's wasn't.
Well, he didn't end up playing either.
He didn't end up, but neither did Earl last year in the Moscone.
Yeah. Well, Earl showed up at least.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
But Efren couldn't get there, right? So I just looked up Mario. He's even at 803 Fargo. Yeah. So I mean, even him. There will not be a player on Europe that is under 800 Fargo. We will have exactly one, maybe two. I think Sky fell down below 800. I think he was like right at 799 for a while, but I don't think he's there anymore. He's exactly at 800. So again, Fargo is just a number. I get that, but you know, I don't want to. It's hard to imagine a situation where a Nick DeLeon, who I love and I sponsor, would get picked with a wild card. Right? Merit. I mean, he's at every single event, and if you go off of merit, he absolutely deserves to be there more than anybody else because he's played every single one of them. But I cannot imagine a situation where Jeremy Jones looks at Nick DeLeon over a Billy Thorpe or over a Tyler, maybe over a Tyler Scheider, maybe over a Jeremy Seaman, and says you deserve this, or we want you over them. Like I struggle to see a situation where Jeremy does that. Now, do I think they're deserving? If you go off like what they've done, absolutely. I think Nick DeLeon deserves a nod over those players. But
how much is it Jeremy's decision though? It's not his sole. I don't think it's his sole decision, right?
I think it is. I think that.
Do you think he picked Earl last year? I think Matchroom picked him. I think Matchroom convinced him to play him. I don't think it's a sole Jeremy gets to decide.
I'm telling you right now that it wasn't. There was an influence on Earl being picked. I'm telling you that it was. It wasn't Matchroom. It was Shane.
Oh really? Okay, cool. That's good. Well, maybe Shane asked for him again then. You want to see Earl in it? Come on. You want to see Earl?
This is just you begging to see Earl, you clown. You just want to see Earl. You want to throw apples at him when he's down on a shot. I know you.
Under the pressure, though, Earl's probably still better than a few of the guys you can pick, right? For big situation, races to 5, Earl's still your man, I think.
I mean, I don't hate Mike's statement. Team USA needs Tony, if for nothing else, to needle Europe the whole event. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I mean, at the end of the day, like, is Tony capable of winning the cup for the US? No. Is he capable of contributing to a winning team? Absolutely yes. He's not gonna Sky Woodward it where he single-handedly just grabs all 4 players and drags them over the finish line like Sky did in 2020. But if they put together a winning effort, Tony will be a part of it.
The fans have got a big part to play this year, though. The USA fans, they've got a big part to play this year, I think. In fact, increasingly every year, they've got an even bigger part to play in trying to pile pressure on Europe.
Well, I don't know. I guess with that, do we have anything else? You want to just close it out?
The women's event's on in Canada this week, right? And they called off the men's event. They didn't have enough runners. Somebody told me they only had 33 runners or something, 34. It's probably BS. I don't know what the truth is. that right?
Yeah, they called off the men's. Yep. So the women's event's still going on, the Canada Open, and yeah, it's a great event. Streamed to Billiard TV. Billiard, yeah. So fun. Should be good.
What was interesting, Kelly's picture was all over the posters in Germany for the European Open, and then she wasn't there.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, right?
But yeah, a bit. I don't know whether she pulled out last minute or what happened. But then again, there's much easier dollar for her to make somewhere else.
Yep. So, yep. All right. Well, that's going to be a great event. Check it out on Billiard TV. And I think, Chris, we need to wrap up. What do you think?
Yep. All good.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining me, Chris. And thanks to everybody for tuning in and participating in the chat. And Ryan Harmson, I will be in town on Thursday. I will be leaving up here right around noon on Thursday. So I would be up there right around 6 or so to see our billiards. Big event this weekend. Hopefully I play well. Chris, you want to play as Nate?
No.
Okay. All right, everybody. Take care. See you later.